the story of Konami and the amount of just bad juju they've built up. You know, it's actually been 10 years since PT. 10 years. I still look back on that game. I still have the PlayStation 4 down there that still has it on it. I'm never selling it. PT is hands down like one of the greatest things, like in terms of just promotional material. I don't think you could have had like a better teaser. And then some asshats at Konami were just like, oh hey, we're gonna focus on just casino machines and say to hell with the guy who literally helped make your company into what it is. Or he was one of them.
I'm pretty sure everybody that helped build that company is gone now.
Well, yeah, I know that.
I don't know if anybody from Team
gone.
Silent still exists in that company or not.
Well, Igarashi crashed out of there pretty heavy.
Is he Castlevania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He crashed out of there in 2014. It was like 2014 to 2015 is when Konami basically cleaned house of like all of their biggest creators. The fact that
I think literally like one of the only people still working with him that I would consider like one of their gems that they haven't lost is probably Akira Yamaoka.
Well, he's been a freelancer for them for a while, but they're never going to get rid of him because of the consistency of his work, and also the fact that it's easier to control the musician side of things than like the gaming devs. Because gaming devs are basically just, they're more unpredictable.
I haven't heard for sure that they've all been let go, but I'm pretty sure Team Silent's not a thing anymore.
I wouldn't imagine that it would be.
If Team Silent was still a thing, they'd be working on this instead of, you know, them outsourcing it to an outside
Bloober team
studio.
Yeah. Layers of Fear. I think that's the same team.
It is.
I don't need to remind like some of the old school fans of Baby Bonk. That's still one of the funniest moments in this channel's history. Just we kept running back and forth down the hallway and just watching that baby just bonk into the wall over and over again.
The game, like overall, was pretty mid.
And the fact that
medium was pretty mid.
The remake of Silent Hill 2, I'm hoping goes good. I want the Silent Hill franchise to come back.
It would be awesome if this is Bloober Team's breakout moment where they prove that they're better than everything they've done so far. I'm a big fan of being cautiously optimistic, which a lot of people misconstrue as me being cynical or pessimistic, but I think it's better to hope for nothing and have expectations met than it is to hope for a lot and be disappointed all the time.
True. We got the story trailer here for Silent Hill 2. Let's see what they have to offer.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful.
Yet again, Akira Yamaoka, man. But
yeah. It's...
In my restless dreams, I see that town.
Thank you.
You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well,
I was gonna say, like, they at least better keep that line.
In our special place.
They're keeping the letter, it sounds like. Whoa. He looks a lot better than I expected. Okay.
Alright.
You should see your face, too.
I like the uncanny creepiness that they brought to Eddie.
Yeah.
By what?
This place is different from what I remember. I don't think she's here anymore.
This whole town. Might be best if you just get out of here. Yeah, you're right.
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made.
How do you know about that?
interesting thing about that, by the way, I'm glad they kept that too, because that's actually apparently a way to find out if you're lucid dreaming or not.
Yeah.
Like, I never knew that until, like, recently when I heard someone talk about it. I was like, really? I was like, that's really cool.
It basically, through self-recognition, making, like, just touching your face and making sure, like, it's weird how your brain works. Our brain is, like, constantly evolving the next part of the dream, and you yourself are building it as you're going through. And if you can learn to control that, then basically everything combines in the middle, and you're just there.
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
How do you know about Mary?
You see it too? For me, it's always like this.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See?
Then look at the picture.
I'm real.
Then look at the picture.
I mean, I still agree with everybody. This trailer was better than I expected. I don't know how I feel about their faces and their facial expressions and such, and I still don't know. I don't think I'm gonna know until I get to actually play through it. It's definitely not something that I'm like, this looks bad, I'm not even gonna touch it by any means, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it at least looks okay to maybe even good so far. But just keep in mind, the bar for this is they're recreating a masterpiece. So they should be shooting for a lot higher than okay or just good, like, for sure.
I would hope so.
Like, hopefully this ends up being, like, incredibly surprising to everyone and absolutely blows everyone's fucking hair off.
I hope it does.
That would be awesome. But
I hope.
mean, like I said, like, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, there were things, especially, like, my favorite part of this so far is Eddie. Eddie looks fucking disturbing now. Like, and he's a disturbing ass character.
Well, and I think that's the benefit of this versus what came before is the updated graphics and like the uncanny nature, like you were talking about.
Yeah, but
them being able to take advantage.
They didn't
of that.
exactly nail that with all the rest of the characters, though, in my opinion. Like, Angela didn't exactly become like this strange, ghostly, ethereal lady. Like, and if anything, she feels more like she's actually there and like a real person than she did before.
I think maybe
she's like the introduction to like that strange like stream of consciousness, like dream state dialogue that goes out on throughout the game and such, you know. And like the only real anchor, in my opinion, within the game, which I think is fine in this as well, like that she still feels like an anchor to me, is Laura. Because Laura feels like the only one that like doesn't see all this strange stuff happening. She's not part of the dream. She's just there, and she's like, all you adults are fucking weird, you know?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Whereas like the rest of them are like trapped in their own personal nightmares and hellscapes, and so it's got this strange like dream like quality to the things that they say. Angela's like that when you first encounter her in the graveyard, like it's like nothing they're saying back and forth really 100% makes sense. Like you can kind of get an idea of what they're talking about, but it starts to get really weird at that point. That's part of like unnerving you know. I don't know, Angela seems like more of an anchor herself like this time around because of that realistic graphical style and such, and because of the updated dialogue.
Also, what you're talking about, I think them changing up when we first encounter her, you know, it instead we're actually getting to know her more as a human before we see her in that form.
Yeah, and then whenever we did see her like on the stairs with the fire and her saying like you can see it too, it's always like this for me, like that did have more of that vibe.
Yeah,
just like whenever they showed her in the graveyards, and also when she was there with the knife, that did kind of have that vibe too. Still like, and I think that the atmosphere of the apartment helps with that. I mean, I hope that they can nail this. Like, I think there'll be things that I probably prefer definitely from the original still over this in many ways probably, but I really hope that they can at least get it to the point where we're all just like, you know what? That wasn't bad. That wasn't a bad attempt. Like that's what I hope for. Like,
fingers crossed. Like in every possible means. Like eyes crossed.
I have already seen. There's one thing about this that I'm both wary and very excited about, by the way, is that the initial exploration of Silent Hill has been expanded.
Good.
So I think that's a cool thing to try, but you could very easily, really quickly go off the rails and fuck your pacing over if you're not careful. So
that's true as well, and I think maybe that's something that I think it'll be. Probably be trial and error. Maybe that's why it took them so long for the development of this, because they ran into some issues where Konami initially was unhappy with certain parts of the game, and I guarantee you maybe that's what you're talking about. Maybe they felt like the pacing was dragged down by basically just opening Silent Hill up and not really having enough there to keep the pacing at a good rate.
Oh yeah, and there's a dodge mechanic. So it's not like you're like combat rolling like in Dark Souls or anything, but there's like a shuffle to the side dodge mechanic.
Yes.
Which, to be honest, I think is okay, because if I'm one of the Silent Hills, I can't remember if it was this one or one of those, but they had the ability to like hold a button and then step to the side, and that could help you get out of the way of attacks. It wasn't like a dodge, but it was like you could strafe.
I think that was the room.
I can't remember if it was this one or 4, but what. It might have been this one originally, but I just hope they don't do the thing like with Homecoming where they make him feel like too good at like what he's doing. It still needs to feel like he's not built for combat and shit.
I don't think they're going to give him the hero treatment.
Vulnerable.
I don't think they're going to give him the hero treatment. I think that he'll be able to take some hits, but he's human. He's gonna get hurt, and he basically is just going to wind up like, if you take enough hits, you're going to die. Yeah,
because everybody's like, oh, the RE4 remake was so good, the RE2 remake is so good. It's like, James is not Leon, though.
No,
and he should not be portrayed as such.
And plus, that was Capcom's internal dev team that did that, whereas this is a third party coming in and basically doing this game from the ground up.
There's a lot I saw that is leaning towards them still trying to stay true to the original, which is good, because the gameplay trailer that I saw, or it was more of a gameplay, like someone talking about they got to, sneak peek it and they got to show some footage, but you only have the plank up until the apartment like you should. You get the gun in the apartment. The aiming for it doesn't look super precise or anything, and it definitely looks slower than like RE4 or RE2 over the shoulder, like firing and stuff.
Well, keep in mind, he's not a trained person with a firearm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the way it should be. Like,
yeah.
So it's looking not bad in terms of those kinds of things so far.
Well,
just I want to get my hands on it and see how that dodge mechanic feels and stuff. It shouldn't feel too good. It should feel like it can just save your ass in certain situations. But
if they're close enough to you, to where you don't have to like precision aim.
I noticed you can step to the side of Pyramid Head's big over the head swing with his knife.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it's so slow. But like dodging like completely out of the way of every single attack all the time in that way shouldn't really be a huge option,
No.
In this kind of game.
He's meant to be terrifying. He's meant to basically be like, he can one hit kill you. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. He's like, he can basically just like take you out immediately if he wants. But the thing with it is just how you approach fighting him. Well, you really can't fight him. There's no like defeating him.
There's enough original dialogue in this story trailer as well for me to feel like at the very least they kind of feel like they can't improve on the story, which I don't think is the case. I don't think anybody can improve on that story.
No.
So I think they're going to keep it entirely intact, and it's just as long as they get most of the vibes right, I think they'll be able to at least pull off an 8 to 9 on the story. Like, so that's good. Like, I think there's a lot more right now that's looking better than I thought it would, than there is stuff that's looking worrying about it. So that's good.
We can only hope, and we have over a month to prepare for this. Here's what I'll do. We got the PS5 and everything. If you want, we can make it like a thing where you can play it on stream, or we can play it on stream with Kate.
Essentially, I don't know if I want to experience this that way in my first playthrough, though.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
This is very much a be alone in your room with the lights off by yourself kind of experience.
I understand that.
I don't know. It's supposed to make you feel isolated, and I definitely want Kate to see Silent Hill 2 for Scaredy Kate at some point, because I know she'll never play it by herself.
No.
But just for me, I think I probably want to get to play it by myself first to really see what I think about it before bringing it down here with these lights on and sitting with friends while I play through it, you know.
Well, no, I was thinking about, like, lights off and we do
Still
the night vision.
with friends is what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I'd rather
fair
play
enough.
it through solo first, and then I can come back and see it on stream, you know. Because I'll also be constantly talking and inserting my own thoughts that whole time. I think I would kind of ruin it for Kate if I was only seeing this remake for the first time and giving my own thoughts on it my first time seeing it too. So I don't think I should put that on Scaredy Kate. I also really don't think that this should be Kate's first exposure to Silent Hill 2 either, and that's another reason I want to play it solo, because I want to see if I think that she should see this first or if she needs to see the original first.
Yeah,
'Cause
true.
right now, like, I would 100% say without having played this that she needs to see the original before she sees this remake.
Well, I mean, we got a copy of the original upstairs and we got the PlayStation 2, so we can play it at any time. Anywho, that was the Silent Hill 2 story trailer. Maybe we'll do this for Scaredy Kate in the future. We'll see. We've got other games planned for Scaredy Kate. Of course, like, we've talked about one of the Scaredy Kates coming up, maybe doing, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. I think it'd be overall very, very fun.
I still want to do 2 at some point too.
2,
because
yeah.
She's already met Leon and has an investment in Leon, so she needs to see 2 now.
Which is the more horrifying of, like, Leon's experiences, because 2 is a lot more hardcore than 4.
It's also back when he was a rookie, so he didn't have all this training and shit.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
Be good people. Take care. Peace.